champion of the 2023 Bahamas Great Abaco Classic at the Abaco Club, Ben Silverman.
You've had a dream start to the season. You won the second event of the year at the Abaco Club in the Bahamas as a sponsors exemption. Darren Clark presented you with a membership to that amazing club. Then you played the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am as a sponsors exemption again. And you won the celebrity division with none other than Aaron Rodgers. Mate, that is an incredible run. You must be pinching yourself.
I did pinch already. And now we're several months later, so now I just smile. I'm like, yep, that all happened. That's true. It was, like you said, a dream start. I was playing really, really well in the winter time leading up to even last season. I had no status last year, so I was Mondaying everywhere. Mm-hmm. And I Mondayed into 6 PGA Tour events and 1 Korn Ferry in one season. And I've never done anything close to that before. And then I tried to get through Q school and played great, but shot 10 under in second stage, missed by 3. And I'm like, well, I can't walk away pissed off because I'm playing good. So now I just need an opportunity. I just need a chance. Mm-hmm. And I've always written sponsor letters whenever I can't get into a tournament. And it just panned out. I had ISCO, that's one of the companies that sponsors mm-hmm. me, and they had a connection with the guys that ran Bahamas. And they said yes this year, and it worked out. It was amazing. And I was in such like a grateful, thankful place emotionally just being there, because I was like, this is all I need. Mm-hmm. Just a chance to play. Like, I don't have to Monday and I'm here. I wasn't thinking I'm going to win this week.
How did the call come to play with Aaron? How did that even come about after getting the sponsors exemption into the tournament?
So it came from one of my Monday qualifiers last year. I Mondayed into the waste management.
Okay.
And I'm walking around on Wednesday going to practice, and I hear all this buzz, and we're right off the backside of 9 green at waste, and I see Aaron come over the hill. And I totally forgot it was Celebrity Pro-Am Day on Wednesday at Waste Management. So I didn't know he was going to be there. I just wanted to go and say hi, introduce myself, and he knew who I was. He was a golf nut, mm-hmm. and he was like, I'd seen your names on leaderboards, good job, and come walk with me, and we chatted for like 5 or 10 minutes. And it was just a great conversation. So I sent him a message later on Instagram. I was like, nice meeting you, man. Like, hopefully we can stay in touch down the road, blah, blah, blah. And I wasn't expecting much, but he responded like an hour later. Then it just developed every once in a while over the year. He'd be like, great week, man. Nice job qualifying.
Nice.
So we kept a little back and forth going. And then when I won Bahamas, I found out that behind the scenes, he's texting the tournament director to Pebble, going, if Ben wins, we got to get him in. I want to play with him. And that's how it all came together. While we were hanging out, there was a lot of conversations about just state of mind on the golf course, certain things that I was telling myself. Mm-hmm. He gave me a couple tips of what he does and breathing techniques, in the pocket when he's under pressure. And it was all kind of topics of conversation about elite performance mm-hmm. and just being in a good state of mind.
We're the champs.
That's
Aaron
it.
Rodgers, Ben Silverman, 2023 Pebble Beach Pro-Am champs. Thanks to all the fans out there who came out, showed up, and supported us. Thanks to our loved ones with us on the course, our buddies, Darius and MJ, for being great partners. And see you next year.
Yeah, it was an amazing week. That's it. I got nothing to say. That was perfect.
Come on, man, that's it?
That's it.
All right, thanks everybody.
All right.
Tell us about your dad's journey touring as a musician and then how he instilled so much confidence in you.
Him and my mom were dream chasers when they were younger. They were both professional musicians, moved away from home to chase their dreams. And so when it was something I was showing that I wanted to do and leave home and try to pursue professional golf, they understood it completely. And so as I got older, I just had lots of conversations with my dad, and I still have them now, mm-hmm. about dealing with pressure situations in terms of, he's a young musician touring with, somebody as famous as Dizzy Gillespie at the time, who was like the man in jazz, and talking about how if he doesn't put in his best performance that night, he might not get another gig.
Right.
And what his state of mind was, and kind of how he had to focus and practice at home. And so we have a lot of those kind of conversations together. And then with my wife, Morgan, and her dad, they're both chiropractors, and they are all about framing things in a positive mindset. You know, the mind doesn't understand no or don't. And so same way as you try not to think of, you know, water hazard on the right, you never want to say don't go right. You know, we don't want to hit it right. There's water there. You just want to focus on where you do want to go.
Yeah.
And so we take that approach off the course to everything.
Okay.
Like, what's the goal this week? I'm out here not trying to win. I'm out here to win. Because you're not trying. I'm here to win. And so every expression that you're speaking in a conversation of what you're trying to do, you got to take the try out of it. You got to take the negative out of it and frame it in the positive of what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you focusing on? And I have notes that I've come up with, like little self-affirmations that I've written on the mirror in my bathroom, and I travel with some. You know, Morgan writes some in my suitcases sometimes when she's not traveling with me. I read lots of books on this topic just so that I'm always staying sharp on it, because I fell off of it for about a year or two, not working on the mental side as hard, and I found it makes a big difference.
I know you meditate a lot, but when did you start using that as a tool on and off the golf course?
I'd say that was probably more when I met my wife in like 2014. Her and her family are always big into meditation, and it was never something I was into as a kid, really. Visualizing, sure, focusing on goals, yeah, but I never got the whole meditation thing till I met her. And they're friends, close family friends with this guy named Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he's all about neuroplasticity of the mind, and he's written a book called You Are the Placebo that was famous a while back about basically the power of the mind to control what you want happening or what you want your body to do, and it can be controlled through your thoughts. And so I started working on that, meditating, using those types of lessons and using guided meditations to help with that.
But when people think meditation, sometimes they think woo-woo. You know, I meditate as well, but it's just a form of de-stressing. It's a form of just listening to your body and just relaxing, especially in golf, high-stress sport. You're always putting so much pressure on yourself, your expectation to perform under pressure. So sometimes I think it's good you're in a place where you know how you can relax, get away from it. You won on the Korn Ferry Tour back in 2017.
Yeah.
You made it to the PGA Tour that year. You stayed on the tour for 2 seasons, but then you fell back to the Korn Ferry Tour and admitted you really struggled with a lot of different things. You said, we talked about, you had a little bit of a poor mental approach. What was it, purely that part of your game that you needed to kind of work on to get better at, or was it a combination of things that got you back to where you are now?
It was definitely a combination of things, partly mental. I realized after I wasn't keeping up with the same types of readings or meditations as I did to get to the tour, but I also wasn't practicing with the same intensity while I was on tour as I did to get there. And it's obviously not something I realized till after the fact. My goal wasn't really to win, even though I said my goal was to win. But my goal was to play on the PGA Tour.
Right.
Ever since I was 16, my goal was get to the PGA Tour. I didn't have a goal past that. And when I got to the PGA Tour, I didn't reassess and set another goal. I was just like, oh yeah, I want to win. I would love to win this tournament, but like deep down the driving force wasn't there because I was already happy just being on tour.
You already succeeded.
Yeah, and I thought, well, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing exactly the way I'm doing it, and I'll stay on tour.
Yeah.
And I'll just keep playing on tour.
Yeah.
But it didn't work that way because I wasn't trying to continually get better. And how do the guys at the top of the world, Rory, Rahm, Scheffler, stay at the top of the world? They keep practicing and grinding like they're not there.
Yeah.
That's the only way to stay there.
When I'm in peak physical condition, my body cannot only withstand the amount of time I'm on my feet and length of time we're outside walking the course, but it makes my mind stronger because there's lots of times when I'm pushing myself in the gym and I want to quit. My body's like, I'm tired. But if I quit, what am I going to do on the course? when it gets hard or the weather gets hard. I'm gonna wanna quit when it's raining, windy, tough weather. So what I do in here is partly training for the mindset I wanna be in tournaments too. The harder I push myself in here, the more I'll be able to handle on course. Adverse conditions, or, you know, I'm at the top of the lead one-on-one against a competitor and he's not backing down. I'm training myself to not back down either.
Okay, we're gonna finish Ben up with a sled push where he's just gonna sprint with the weight on there, down and back. We do this at times at the end of a workout just to kind of finish him off a little bit. We will do stretching and cool down stuff afterwards, but he likes the punishment. Go ahead. Good. Generally speaking, this is a good exercise because he can apply a lot of force and power with very little chance of getting hurt. So it's a good way. At the end of the workout, he's going to be tired and fatigued. Good. Quads are firing. Come on.
Give us a little rundown of your workouts, your diet regimen, stuff like that.
So I always wanted to be a professional athlete. Golf was never the main thing. It was always hockey or baseball, volleyball, ultimate frisbee, something that was like crazy athletic. And you're moving, you're sweating. And so when I got into golf, I still wanted to train like an athlete and get strong, but I couldn't because I didn't have the time because I sucked at golf.
Right.
So I needed to practice.
Yeah.
And I had this burning desire within me to see how strong can I get? How ripped can I get? How much of an athlete can I become? But I still got to practice golf. And so I hit 30, I hit 31, and I'm just like, F it, I got to do this. And so I changed my mind like 2 years ago, maybe at 33, that I'm going for this now. And so I've made it as same way I'm doing the mental stuff on a regular basis.
Yep.
Now I'm like, you know, on the road, I used to make an excuse. I'm tired. I want to rest for the next round. I'll just drop down, do 30 push-ups instead right now.
Okay.
I'll do some sit-ups.
Yep.
I'll do a 20-minute workout in the gym, and if I feel like doing nothing, because I want to keep doing it. I work out harder in the winter now when I go home with my trainer because I want to get stronger, and I just want to keep becoming that athlete that's not your typical golfer just because that's what I always wanted.
Yeah.
So I eat healthy. I try to get a lot of pretty much only shop organic food. When we're back home, we do home cooking, my wife and I, and we do the best we can on the road, but yeah, no fast foods, no soda, and I figure all that's going to help too in the long run so that when I'm 50, 60, if I still want to compete, my body's not going to break down. You're not going to see pictures of me at 60 versus 30 and be like, "Whoa, that guy doesn't even look the same."
Yeah,
I
like
want to
what
look the same. I still want to fit into the same clothes and just be strong and just keep powering through. But I think part of this renewed passion about my profession all around the health and fitness, I'm practicing harder, is because I've decided that winning on the PGA Tour is the one thing I want to do before I hang it up. And I'm going to feel like my career was not complete, and all this work I did from being a horrible 16-year-old golfer to get to where I am now, it's not going to be complete until I win on the PGA Tour.
Ben's going to play a bit of a game with us today where you can use the Trackman to actually play a game while you're on the range and adapt it to being on the course or when you play tournament golf. So give us a little bit of a rundown how you do that, Ben, and how it kind of can be used to your advantage.
Basically, using an app on the Trackman that creates a picture on your iPad or your cell phone of a random green shape. It'll give you a whole location and you pick your range of yardage, say 60 to 120 yards, just gonna work on short wedges. And you line it up to a target on the range, and then it'll spit out an image for you on the screen. And you basically have to create that image in your mind of what the green looks like and then calculate your shot. So I think it's short. We're starting short range. I've got a 65-yard shot to a tucked right pin over a bunker. So my line is that post out there. It's a little, I gotta figure out a little bit hurting wind, and I wanna land it pin high left or just short left where there's space on the green. So I'm just gonna stick with a 65-yard shot in my head. Picture about 65 yards in line with it.
Yep.
And then picture the shape of the hole.
Yep.
And where I'm trying to position it. So I'm not gonna aim at that. I'm aiming slightly left. 56 yards, I aired a little short left, 27 feet. So it's immediate feedback. I can be like, okay, could have given that one a little more.
Yeah.
So we got 186, it's a back left pin.
Okay.
And it's all based on just carry, right? So I'm gonna try to land it 180. 190 is a full 7. So picturing a back left pin at that post. So I'm just gonna go something a little right and hit a full 7. $184.5, landed 5 feet from the hole.
There you go. So okay, that's.
But it's like, that's where I'm aiming right, because that's the smart choice, middle of the green. Pull it and hit it close by accident.
Yeah.
Like, how many times that happened?
Look, your goal was 20 feet right at the pin. There would have been a great shot into the wind off the left. 186. That's a tough shot. It's a tough par 3.
Exactly.
So the fact that you know that, hey, I pulled it. I got a little bit lucky there, but it wasn't what I was trying to do. So I didn't quite execute. But it'd be great if that was a tournament.
And like I said, it's new for me, like less than a year, but I feel like it's really helped dial in strategy on course and just making what I do here feel the same in a tournament.
Well, as you likely turn your attention to the PGA Tour next year, tell everyone what your ultimate goal is when you first dreamt up that goal. Now, we talked a little bit, it's about winning on the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
So is that with that question, is that it, knowing that you're heading back?
Yeah. I'd say back in 2020, during that COVID year on this tour, I was just slowly kind of sliding. The game was sliding a bit. And mentally, I wasn't there. And I had a point where I was like concerned I was going to lose status. My mind definitely wasn't in the positive frame. And I just had some thoughts of like, shit, what if I can't get back on the PGA Tour? Or what if I don't get back on the Korn Ferry Tour? And within that realm, this was like just all in the same day of I was going out to practice. And I was like, no, if I quit or didn't give it my all to get back on tour, I'd regret it the rest of my life.
100%.
With all the work I put into it to get to that point. So I'm playing shit for 2 years, whatever. If I were to give it up now, that would tear me up for the rest of my life. So when I came to that realization somewhere in 2020, then I was like, okay, enough's enough. What do I need to do to start playing better again? And that's when I got back into the fitness stuff, harder on the mental side, switched coaches, started working on, hitting the ball farther because I felt like I definitely needed to. I was below average in distance. And it's just been a new drive, new motivator to, I'm gonna win on the PGA Tour because that's my ultimate full circle story for how this all got started. And when I win, I'm gonna wanna win again.
Of course.
Because I have that feeling on this tour. Like, when I won in Bahamas, all I wanted to do was win again. And I came close like a few weeks later in Florida, and then kind of losing it in Alabama on the last hole and not getting the playoff done. That's still like a fire burning in my belly because I want to win again, and I felt like that was mine. When I went on the PGA Tour, I'll immediately reset, to wanting to win again, or wanting to win a certain amount, or one thing that I recently thought about, and I'll keep thinking about it to see if it's gonna burn that desire in me, is I talked to Mike Weir at Canadian Open and was hitting balls next to him, asking him just a couple things about his career that I didn't know. And I asked him what his world ranking was at the height of his career. Do you have any idea?
No, ballpark, I would say 42nd.
Mike Weir, yeah. Third.
Third. Okay, so I thought that was kind of a trick question, but yeah, okay.
So
third.
I had people guess 10th, 12th,
Okay.
right? Because he won the Masters.
Won the Masters,
and
yep.
he won Riviera that same year. He told me a bunch of other tournaments he played well in, but I had no idea he came third.
Right.
Stopped me right in my tracks as
Yep.
I'm hitting balls. And then my mindset of wanting to be great, I start thinking, he's Canadian. He's like the best Canadian ever. If I can get to number 2 in the world, then what kind of status am I going to have?
Yeah.
People going to say about me
Yeah.
in that realm of Canadian golfers.
Yep.
So I don't know if it's there yet, that burning desire to just get to number 2 or number 1 in the world and be the highest ranked Canadian golfer that I've ever known. But we'll see. I'll keep thinking about it.
Well, Ben, from a 12 handicap out of high school to top 250 in the world, it's been a pleasure chatting. You make me want to be a better person. After this, I'm going home to do about 100 push-ups. It just, and I didn't think I was going to say that, but
Pursue greatness. Right here.
I've really enjoyed the chat, and I'm really excited to following the rest of your career, not only on the Korn Ferry Tour, but on the PGA Tour. So thanks for sitting down.
Thanks, James. Yeah,
Appreciate it.
Good talking to you, man.
Yeah.